All right, good morning, fellow Oracle Apex developers. So today I'm going to just talk about or show you very quickly, hopefully, how I'm using a bearer token. A bearer token, if you don't know, is an authentication token that's passed as an authentication header in your HTTPS request or HTTP request. And you have the keyword bearer in it, and then there's this token. You can look them up and see. And they're really common. In this case, this is my API for my for the application. Where every time the application is built, this runs, it deletes the module and rebuilds it. That way I can make changes and they'll take effect the next time you upgrade or reinstall. So we've only got one really simple template for metrics. The idea is to be able to submit metrics like using a curl request. And what we're doing is we're either looking for the access token parameter, which this token can be passed as a parameter called access token. You'll find that the downside of that is that the token can then potentially be stored in the browser history. So maybe not the best place to put it, but a lot of API services do it that way. But if you pass it as, if that's null, then the handler here, the REST handler, is going to try to get the bearer token from the header. And it does this using a call to K2 API, which you can go look at. I'll show it to you here, right here. This function get bearer token asserts that there is a bearer token. So we've got this little code here. Throws an error if it doesn't find it. And if it is there, it gets it and then parses out the token. I'm assuming the CGI env always works lowercase. I'm hoping that's always the case. I'm not entirely sure of that. So if the token's not valid, if it's invalid, it will. If it's expired, if it doesn't exist, then this will raise an error, and we'll jump down to this error handler. This is kind of my standard RESTful API error handler at the moment. We're hoping there's not too many errors, but we are dumping the CGI env to debug using K2 util. I am logging the error, and then I'm returning 400. I can't remember what error message is, if that's something that's like status. I think it might be, and returning that. I'll probably put this in K2 API as just a K2 API handle error, and then source and error message, and then it'll do this other stuff automatically. Actually, I don't know if that will work, putting it somewhere else. It probably won't. Not sure about that one. Don't think it will. Don't think it will. We'll probably just leave this as it is. So if we get past that point, we're expecting a data set, a metric, and a value. I was getting some type conversion errors or type errors, so I put the 2 number on here. I don't think that was actually the issue here. I think it was in my API metric code, but either way, we got past it, and we were able to this inserts a row into the metric in table, which is where metrics are processed by a background job, scheduled job running in the background. So once the data gets there, you don't need to worry about it. You just need to get it there. Now, a cool thing about bearer tokens is I'm not sure if Oracle can do bearer tokens in another way. I think it probably can, or it will be able to soon. I like being able to get access to this myself here because one thing I've done in the past and in a Python application is it had an encrypted content within a JWT, and that JWT was the bearer token. So you would get the JWT, and if you could unencrypt the content, then you knew it was legit. And you could put basically, you could say that this person was authenticated. So if you're using microservices, you have a lot of different services. You can basically pass these credentials around, and they can have an expiration time encrypted in them and all that kind of stuff. Or you can put the expiration time in the JWT, and it's signed. So So what you can do is then this person can talk to all these different services, and as long as those services know each other and trust each other and have the key to decrypt, they'll be able to decrypt the content. Say, yep, this person obviously belongs here, and you can do all kinds of cool things like that. So don't have any need for it now, but that is something that I found useful in the past. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. This is working. So then let's move on to a little complaint on the get URL function. I was trying to figure out, I thought I could clear cache on a single item on a page. It looks like that's not possible. And there's like no documentation here. Look at the documentation. P clear cache, URL clear cache parameter. Yes, I know, but what goes in it? The example is not down here. Now I know from looking at the UI, it's like the page number. And so put the page number in and that clears cache. And I'll show you what I ended up doing here is I needed to clear this search box. So I was putting like CPU in, and that would filter down. But then when you clicked a different data set, this would still say CPU. So I needed to clear cache since this is just linking back to itself. But then what happened is anytime you like refresh the page, it was clearing. So I didn't really want that to happen. So now I am I forgot how I'm doing it now, but I'm clearing just that item now when you click here. Actually, I clear the page when you click there now. Yeah, that's what it is. So another problem I found is I had this test data, but things are a little slow today. What network are we on? Not on the right network. Okay. So anyway, no charts here. I'm like, oh, what happened? And then I realized, oh, I'm manually sending this data, and this is looking at the metric detail table, which only has 4 hours of data in it. And if the data in it is older than 4 hours or is no longer there because it's aged out and been deleted, then you're not going to get anything here. So the quickest design change I can do is go to the metric work and metric work archive table, which is going to be a union. So that'll be the current hour plus archived hours. There's always a row in metric work, no matter how old it is. So at least we'll have something show up here. And so that's what we'll start with. We won't start with detail. That's the simplest solution. And then what we want to do is we want to come up with a way of showing you that this data has not been updated in a long time. Like you want to show the user that for whatever reason this is not updating, and you don't want to just throw data up there because it's really easy to miss if you're just showing a bunch of data and you're just going to assume all the charts are showing the same kind of time frame and stuff like that. So we'll have to do something with that. So that's kind of what I'm going to work on today. And think that's it. Got my page stuff working here. There's a little bug there. Fixed that last night. We've got settings, tokens. Oh, this is something else I wanted to talk about. So if we go to tokens, this is a dataset token. So when you're calling that API and you're calling dataset, this is what you're passing, because it's going to take this token and interpret it into a dataset ID on the back end. Ideally, any single one of these, I would be able to like double click and Control C and copy it, or right click and copy it. But you can see that's not an option here. This is actually read only. It generates new tokens for you when I want to create a row. So if I say add row, it just generated that. So maybe I can copy it there. I'm not sure. If I hit Control C and I come over here, let me just paste. Yep, nope. So you can't do that. That's weird. I can do this field because it's editable, but not this one. And there's no cancel button here, unfortunately. Let's just do delete row. Same thing with, if I go to profile, this is my authentication token, and I'll make sure this is not active in just a minute before I upload this. But this is my API authentication token, and again, this is a select list drop-down. You can't like just select that and copy it. There should be a way to do that. That's really annoying because, so now I'm going to have to come up with a little JavaScript that does this, or I'm going to have to put this like, copy it to a field here and just display, if you want to change token, this is how you can change. Like I can change the token right now. In fact, it's easy enough to just do that. And it actually generates, every time I do that, it generates a brand new, will generate a brand new set of tokens. That should be a, oh, by the way, this should also be, if it's not, let me just do this one more time for you. Here's a, this should be a setting in the settings. This should be available for everyone. So when I do change the token and click apply changes, and I know there's usability issues and stuff like that, but this, I should decide how long this stays. Right now I've got some JavaScript that will take care of this, but I've got to put it on, you know, load it and set it. Ideally, this would be a setting in application settings or something, and then maybe have a page setting that I can override that. And this would be how many seconds do I want this to appear or something like that. That needs to be exposed. This is one of those things that seems minor, but this is highly annoying to always go up to the right and close. Always go up to the right and close. So, all right, that's my little rant or ramble for today, and I'm going to get to work. Hope you have a productive day today. Thanks for watching.